Yo, welcome back, folks, to another episode of Snacks and Raps. This is your boy Rips, your humble host here, and we're back with yet another awesome guest that's across the table from me here. So we're gonna get right into it and introduce none other than PumpGatto. What's up, PumpGatto? How's it going, brother?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah, all right, man. Pleasure to have you in the Snacks and Raps podcast, man. How's your day going so far?
It's been pretty cool. It's like kind of had to force feed myself a little before I came over here.
Damn.
It was literally I just got out of work, so I just had like
You had to.
every second counted to make it to the.
You're like, damn. That's what's up. Yeah, because LA traffic can be crazy. Plus,
And honestly, it just kind of be like that. I'm just kind of used to having to do stuff after work because I don't really have a 9 to 5 type of job. Sometimes I just get out when I get out.
yeah.
So I'm kind of pretty used to just in general, like getting home real quick and showering, changing, and then leaving the house. And sometimes it just
The hustle.
be like that, yeah.
Yeah, nah. Yeah, I feel you on that, man.
That's literally why I
Um,
got the coffee too.
Necessary, man. You saw me with his coffee as well, dude. Because I was kind of on the same boat. I'm like, man, sometimes zipping through town, you know, you got to keep moving. Speaking of which, for folks who may not know you on Snacks and Raps, give us a little background on you. Who is PumpGatto? Let them know.
PumpGatto is Eduardo Pompa.
Orale.
That's my name.
Officially, right?
And funny enough, my PumpGatto is kind of based on my actual name. Because, like, my last name is Pompa, which you could imagine how much I got clowned on growing
the
up.
jokes as a kid, right? And
Yeah.
the playground, fucking kids being horrible ass kids, right?
Literally, since elementary school, it was like fucking kids would be like, hey, my bike needs a Pompa. Like,
On some Lord of the Flies shit, huh? Just
what?
like
It was
raw,
just,
unfiltered.
like, I heard everything. If I made some mistakes, someone said, Pom pendejo. Or
Oh, damn.
it was, you know what? I'm not going to give anybody any fuel to use against.
Hey, but that's the rabbit strategy. You know what I mean?
But anyways, Pompa, in English obviously means pump.
Yeah.
That's where the pump in PumpGatto is.
Got you.
And
Okay.
the gato is, funny enough, it's not actually cat. I just later chose to embrace it because that's what just people assumed. But I guess you could say PumpGatto is a contraction of pump and the music term legato.
Oh,
Because like there was some guitar players that I used to like that use legato picking technique. And legato in music terms means smooth, in opposed to staccato, which is kind of a choppy type of attack. So PumpGatto is really pump and legato put together.
Yo, so your official stage name is Pump Legato, but
No, it was
it's
never-
PumpGatto for short.
No. It was never. I never identified as legato. That's just kind of how I pieced together the
That'd
name.
be a dope alias, though. You know, to make it the more professional one.
Maybe.
Nah, I'm just fucking with you, dude.
But that's where that came about, and
That's
most
sick.
people just assume.
Most people wouldn't know, bro. Honestly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, I ended up just.
I'm one of those that assumed it was like PumpGatto, and then more so because I think you followed it up with.
I embraced it.
Yeah,
and
your logo.
have a logo, and it's honestly something that just kind of happened little by little. Like it's just, I just embraced it, and now even currently with music that I'm writing, I just really make use of the cat theme.
Yeah.
Make say things like I always land on my feet and stuff like that. Like it wasn't supposed to be cat, but
Right.
I ended up.
Went with it.
I
Yeah.
went with it.
You rolled with it. You know, something that I think you saw how people were catching to it, and you're like, okay, I guess. Yeah.
Then my parents I never grew up with a pet, so the first
damn.
pet that I had was really only around the same time I started rapping. Actually, was a cat,
That's crazy.
and I've grown to like cats. So just more to the reason why I just ended up just accepting. You know what? I guess PumpGatto means cat.
You're like, Fuck it, why not? You know, that's what it's gonna be. Okay, so PumpGatto, that's the name.
Yeah,
Uh,
PumpGatto.
Appreciate the background on that too, because again, like I said, I was under the impression that okay, I think that he's referring to a feline or a cat, you know. So that's even a deeper meaning than the original one, right? You
Yeah.
add another layer of significance there, and I appreciate that too because you were breaking down aspects of like music theory too, and a lot of people may not, be that I guess versed in music theory to catch
And
those
honestly,
things.
I really only happened to be just because prior to rapping, I did guitar,
Mm.
bass. Bass is probably what I did more actively.
Is that what exposed you to like music theory
Yes.
and concepts like that?
Yes.
Okay.
And it just really felt because I feel like I just didn't have natural inclinations like some of my other homies that were musicians did, and I just felt like I had to look for a tangible way to make it happen, and that happened through just studying music theory and just learning about music and just making sense of it. Because I just was not one of those people that could just figure it out by ear.
Mm.
I had to really like look at it like math, like and break down.
Did you need a textbook and all that, or
It
because
just
back then didn't we have YouTube, right? So
honestly, it was just due to a lot of things.
okay.
I would say I had certain websites
Oh, okay.
that helped me make sense of things. But also at the time, I was going to ELAC,
Okay.
and like there was this like area where a lot of people would kick it and play their acoustic guitar.
Sick.
And at the time, I made friends with some pretty dope artists that would always talk about stuff, and I didn't know what the hell they were talking about when they were talking about music. And like, so honestly, it was just from being in those atmospheres to also trying to researching it myself is how I kind of put things together. You know, like
Mm.
I realized that when guitarists solo, it's not a guessing game of which notes that they're hitting on the fretboard. There's an actual arrangement of notes that make sense together.
Mm. Hmm. And that pretty much started to help you build a foundation of
Yes.
how to get to you playing maybe some bass and stuff,
And
right?
I just felt like I definitely feel like I just felt like I was just one of the I had to try a little harder than other people.
Okay. How did you okay, given that right that background of you having to try a little harder than other people or the sense that you had to do that, right? Um how did you select an instrument? How did the bass come into picture for you?
The bass was because like I was always guitarist first.
Okay.
That was my first instrument.
Mm.
Um, and that's honestly what I was really the most motivated in. Is just I felt like being a bass is what I needed to be.
Mm.
And I say that because like I used to at least for a good 5 years of my life, I rented a room with other bands with
Mm.
other musicians like Lockout
Yeah.
at Francisco Studios.
Yeah.
So like I was always in a community of artists, and like I had a band and there was different bands, and a lot of time people just freaking jammed out and even rotate instruments, and it just became a thing that it just kind of everybody at some point picked up on other instruments along the way.
Right.
And for me, it was just like I really wanted to be a guitarist, but finding a bassist was hard. And like I know a bunch of guitarist friends. At some point, it just made sense. Like I'll just be the bassist.
Right.
Like there's no shortage of guitarist homies. So like it just felt like it made the most sense to get a band happening.
Mm.
And I will say, even though guitar is what I wanted to be better at, I felt more comfortable with bass.
Got it. Okay. Okay. And then how did that transition happen for you between picking up a bass and playing it right, and then being around all those creative folks, and then you picking up a pencil and starting to write and rhyme? Because that's how my introduction to you was. You hosting events, and then being not only the literal host of the event, but jumping on the mic too and like spitting some, like bars and stuff. And so how did that transition occur?
Um, I will say a lot of it. I didn't expect it to happen. And funny enough, I've always had some type of interest in it. Like I actually rapped before I started rapping. I say this because like one of my homies from ELAC, there was a bassist as well.
Yeah.
Like he got into making beats,
Oh shit.
and
Okay.
like one day we were just kicking it, and he was just showing some beats, and we just like we should try to write something. And like we just got a notebook and just I just whatever whack rhymes I could think of and that he thought of, and it was just we did a quick little rap song
Yeah.
like on the spot and recorded it. Thankfully,
No
there's
evidence.
no evidence of that
Oh,
because
that's
like
hilarious.
I went too out of character. It was like I went to some like gangster ass shit.
Defaulted to the gangster mode in
Yeah.
LA. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But that was like your first kind of like introduction into
But
that,
then
like,
that just didn't really resurface ever.
okay.
It was just one little thing, and then I guess what ended up happening was, at the time, Darm started working at where I worked at the like I guess for a brief period of time we worked the same job,
Okay.
and we just kicked it one time, and I guess I knew he rapped, but I didn't really think too much of it. Like I was so not immersed into the hip hop world, it was just like, oh, he raps,
Yeah.
like whatever.
Right. 'Cause you were
But
into the bands, right?
yeah,
Like,
because I was really going to the band, but then I saw him freestyle, and then just to me, like it just looked fascinating because like that's how unimmersed I was. That to me, just the idea of someone being able to freestyle,
to improvise
to
words. Yeah.
improvise, it was just fascinating. It just seemed, wow, what the fuck? This is possible? Like,
That's dope. So you saw that happen, and
and
then
and here's the thing, like it felt like a little. I kind of like it really planted a seed in me,
okay,
and like I tried to freestyle.
that same day, that on
Yeah,
the
like I
spot.
just threw something in, but I did
Nice.
like a good 10 seconds, and then like it was like whatever I tried,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like every time I work, we saw each other, I would come up with another rhyme, just joking around, and it literally went from joking around to like, oh shit, I could kind of freestyle for a minute to like, oh shit, 5 minutes.
All
I
right.
think I could rap. Like,
Like, yeah, oh damn, undiscovered talent
yeah, like it's like
emerged.
what the fuck I could rap. Like,
That's crazy.
and it just incidentally happened, really. And the thing was at the time, kind of my band was starting to break up. Like we weren't doing anything, and it was really hard for us to coordinate with each other's schedules.
Okay.
And so like as that's happening, I just be, and this just happened by coincidence because Darm ended up moving like a block away from my house too. So it just became like I just started freestyling for fun on a regular basis.
Right.
And while my band thing was not happening anymore, and I just and it got to a point where I just felt like, you know what, being in a band is kind of tricky. Like we have to coordinate with a bunch of people's schedules. Like and like I compromise what I want to do creatively just for the sake of making a song like with other artists,
Yeah.
and it just kind of became a thing where it's like, you know what, hip hop is kind of makes sense. Like, yeah, I'm sure I'm rapping with Darm, and that's cool. But essentially, I could do this by myself. It's not like a band where my ability to do something is completely dependent on other people and at the mercy of other people.
Right.
So, like, I felt like, oh, this is kind of empowering. Like, I can do this, like, by myself, no excuses. I can make this happen. And it literally was just that band chapter was closing, and the whole rap thing started happening until like, you know what, I should start trying to write a song, like,
That's tight.
cause like I already feel like I've been freestyling for like a solid year already. Like, if I could freestyle, then if I put my time, maybe I can write songs. And like,
Yeah.
that's really where it just took off for me, like doing rap. And honestly, I feel like I don't know. I feel like kind of weird because like I feel like I was not in that world, and I just feel like there's people that really grew up on hip hop from day one, and I feel like that was really never the case for me. Like, I wasn't even in atmospheres where I was hearing people freestyle. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so like to me, I literally felt like kind of like that new kid in the school. Like,
But I mean, it's funny that you mentioned that experience, right? Of feeling like a newcomer into the circle, right? Having a few years of just dabbling, right? Versus other people, or what you've perceived other people to have the experience of fully immersed in that culture, of growing up with it and all that, right? And even practicing some element, right, of it. Um, I think oftentimes that kind of experience that you had is the same experience they had whenever they were introduced to it, right? And hip hop doesn't have like that perfect entry point. You know what I mean? So I think you discovering it the way that you were just describing it is hip hop. Is literally like, oh shit, like I can freestyle. Oh, maybe I can write, you know? Like, oh damn, okay, like I like beats, or you know what I mean? Like I'm into writing and shit, you know, or like I relate to that, man, you know, cuz I think that's your on ramp, you know, onto the hip hop highway, you know,
yeah,
por decir, you know. But I think more than anything is you recognizing your own process is pretty dope, you know, cuz I think from what I'm hearing you say is that it was less about like trying to figure out a pattern, but more you self-expressing and being like, yo, check it out, like this is what I have to offer, you know, since we're creating something out of nothing, you know, here's my 2 cents kind of thing. Like you said, oh damn, I could do it for a minute, you know, I could do it for five, and damn, I think I can write, you know. I think that's pretty impressive. You know, it shows the courage of you to of being creative too, and stepping into that kind of like self exploration space via the
I feel
arts.
like it's still been going on for a long time, to be honest. Like, I feel like barely now. Like, I feel like I have a sense of the style that I want to go with,
Mm,
and like I found, I guess, where I'm going, like with rap.
mm.
Even though I haven't really put out any music, but there's definitely been a lot of background stuff and artist discovery.
Yeah. Um, I guess talk a little bit about that, man. I mean, like, what do you want people to know about you, right? Like, there's stuff that you've already done, right? And I think you do have some tracks, but maybe tracks that you feel you want to be recognized for, right? Are not out there just yet.
I
Um,
feel like I've released tracks, but I feel like I have never really fully put on tracks that I'm very happy with.
yeah,
But I feel like I haven't really gone on my campaign,
yeah,
like my campaign
I
where like
got you. Yeah,
I'm going back to back and I'm gonna show y'all what I can do. Like, I just will drop a song here and there. Like,
hmm,
it's never really felt like like a campaign, and I feel like I've been wanting to do that for so long.
yeah,
And like
yeah,
I feel like I have overthought the process, and to some extent I feel rightfully,
mm,
because I feel what I've been doing right now is just I'm pretty happy with it. It's like it's pretty. I feel like right now it's me. Like, it's me.
okay,
There's definitely no I'm trying to be this. I'm trying to be perceived this way or anything like that. I'm just doing
mm,
me and not just making music.
okay,
Cause I have overthought, like, nah, that's a simple rhyme. Fuck that shit.
yeah,
like I've held myself back with, and not to say that you shouldn't be conscious of your rhymes or anything like that, but I feel like at some point it has to be, you have to accept the merit and just expressing what you want to express.
yeah. I got that. I got that. Yeah, I like that. Not to overthink it. You know, I think as artists we have a tendency to overthink it, right? Um, but even you stepping into that space of kind of just allowing yourself to have a sense of what your ideal sound, right, or the ideal sound that you want to attain versus like what you're still like crafting, you know.
I mean,
um
it just took a lot of time. Like I feel like a lot of the traps that I fell into with guitar, I feel like I fell into with rap similarly. Like I feel like with when I was a guitarist, like I didn't even really think about like getting diving deep into songwriting. I was just more about like I want to be some dope ass shredder, like type of fool, you know.
yeah,
And I feel like early on into rap, I was trying to do that. Maybe you could even say try to do a style that I wasn't ready to pull off,
yeah, okay,
and like like literally trying to do above your ability. To be honest,
yeah.
and
But I mean, there's a
there's ego too. There's an ego
okay,
trap to it. And obviously, I just feel like I just reached a lot of self acceptance with like the type of artist that I am, and like I've said before, like I don't see myself like as a bar to bar type of rapper.
yeah,
Not to say at the same time that I don't think about bars, but I
right.
just really I probably like hooks more than I like verses.
That is the
Like
thing, man. That
like
is the
and it's
thing.
and that's just me. Like
Yeah,
that's what I want to hear. So why wasn't I trying to do that? Like
yeah.
writing the type of music I want to hear.
There it is. Yeah,
And I know sometimes, like rap could feel like it's a pissing match and you want to freaking really bar up. And like sometimes that ego or like just that whole thing keeps you from being the artist that you want to be. At
right.
least it did for me, because obviously some people really thrive off of that.
Mm, yeah,
But it just comes back to like the type of music that I'm into. Like I just, also coming from a rock foundation, like I just think about serving a song, like not serving like I want to do this little trick and this and
yeah. Some hip hop nerd shit,
yeah,
which there's the space for that, right?
definitely.
But I think what I'm hearing from you too is that you want you you kind of like want more than just that, like yeah, sure, that's cool and all, and it's moments for you, but it sounds like you're seeking something deeper or something a little more meaningful for you.
Yeah, I
That
feel like at this point, that's all that makes sense.
that's tight.
And honestly, it could really be something that has just come with age,
Mm.
and like,
Be like we soften with age.
not even that. I just mean like, especially to me, like the pandemic, I guess, because I kind of really didn't really put in a situation where I had to reevaluate a lot of things,
All of us, man. Yeah.
and like, and even at this point in my life, I'm not chasing cloud. I'm not trying to please anybody. Like it only makes sense to make myself happy.
Mm.
So it's like I can't. It doesn't make sense for me to let like my art be like shaped by what some people might think it needs to be.
Right. Outside influences. Right.
And like at this point, I'm really just doing it for me. Like, sure, I would like for people to know about my name and wouldn't mind to blow up and all that. But at this point, it just really only makes sense to do it for me.
Mm.
I can't. I'm not even in. I'm not.
I like that.
Maybe I shouldn't express this because it just sounds a little. I don't know, but like I'm just not hungry. I feel like I'm not. I'm not hungry.
Well, you're
And I
not.
was hungry at some point, like really, but now I just feel like I really care more about my individual balance as a person in my life
Mm.
than to really go so deep into hip hop at the detriment of other things.
I hear you. I think what it sounds like to me is that you've reprioritized things in your life, and maybe your appetite for something else, in your life, which is that balance. What I'm hearing is first, and then your creativity, because that's something that may always be there for you, is something that you're taking as you're kind of just rolling with the punches with that, as you feel the need to express. Luckily, that that's your go-to, and so you can create that space for you to be able to let it out, and then in the moment kind of connect with people through your creativity. That's I think that's man, that's really like a healthy approach to it. Especially like you said, like putting into context the last 2 years that we've been through, right? Like pandemic and living in isolation at times and freaking figuring out like our day to day, right? I think that's very wise of you to be able to kind of like put that into perspective for yourself, but then also like sharing it for the rest of us to consider as well. Because I mean, for sure, dude, like what what the scene was, right? It took an impact, like
Honestly,
everything.
I almost feel like I'm not even gonna lie. I hate to even say this, but I feel like I was ready to freaking just
To call it quits,
call it quits.
throwing
Yeah,
throwing the tower.
throwing the towel.
What is it? Put hang up the bowling shoes. No more bowling league for me.
I don't know, like I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I just found myself even being trapped on some negative shit. Like on some what's the point of it all,
Mm,
like type of shit. And like I don't want to be that way. So it's like I definitely needed to step outside of that.
mm.
Because like
Yeah,
I know how I want to feel.
yeah,
Like even if I feel some type of way, like I don't, I know like okay, I need to get away from that.
yeah, yeah.
So like I don't. That's why I really try not to. Like I know to hold grudges
Mm,
or anything like that. Like I know there's people that probably have said shit about me, but I don't want to be mad. Like to me, like if we can just move forward and get past it, or just accept that maybe we saw things differently, or whatever, is just like I don't like being mad. Like
yeah, it's like water under the bridge kind of thing.
yeah, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. That's good, man. I think that's healthy. It's kind of you're not weighed down by yesterday's
It's
woes and stuff.
I mean it could be a struggle. Like I feel like I've gone through some shit. Like I literally had a roommate that turns out to be some sociopath that stole and totaled my car.
Damn.
Yeah, like
Casos de la vida real. Awesome,
seriously,
crazy stuff.
on
Some real life shit.
the
Yeah.
type of shit that just made me question how genuine people were. That people like, and it's like, dude, I want to feel the love, dude. I don't want to fucking be thinking like this fool. He's not really. These fools are not down for me. Really, they're
Mm,
just. It's just a lip service, whatever. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to think like that. Like even.
Dude, honestly, I appreciate you saying that because that that kind of focus on what you actually want and need out of life and requesting it, right, is I think what saves you from entertaining any of what you don't want in
I
your life.
refuse to.
That's mad fucking wise, bro. And I think that again like saves you the trouble of like learning from trial by fire. You know what I mean? Like getting burned by the fire and shit. Like nah. I know fire's hot. I don't need to stick my hand in there. you know. So I think that's awesome, dude. And it's like I said. I think to me it sounds like you have your priorities set.
Yeah.
What just kind of moving us along a little bit here. Um, with those new priorities, what are you focusing on today? Like now that we're kind of out of the pandemic slowly, and we're out and about and we're doing things. You may be working on some new stuff. What do you
I
got cooking up? Or
I feel right now, and this is like the biggest thing for me, is to put out music. Like I feel like, and that was part of one of the things that kept me from calling it quits.
okay,
Obviously, when early this year, when more events started to happen, it's easy to quit something you haven't been around.
damn wise words. Yes, yes.
But it really just came down to going, even honestly, even just going to the Black Books and Rhyme Books event where I saw you,
Mm, yeah.
where we chopped it up, and just just seeing, like, it's been a long time. It was a long time since I've been in an atmosphere like that with people that are interested in the same things as me, and it was just, I really just reverted to my solitude
Mm,
and just going out to the events and seeing dope artists and running into people that were happy to see me. Like I'm not gonna lie, it felt good, and like I like to feel good. You know?
Huh? Who doesn't? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, it was good seeing you that day too, man. To me, it was just pleasant surprise because that was also like, I think I'm among the few times that I started kind of being like, "Hey, events are coming back. Cool. The homies are putting on events. Let me go check it out." You know, I haven't seen these fools in like a good period of time, so I also felt that need of being like, I need some like human connection. I need to revisit these relationships that I have with folks out there. And get kind of like charged by it too. Like you said, like I like feeling good too. Shit, I like sharing jokes and smiles with people, and seeing what they're up to or supporting like the new adventures that they're into and stuff. So like for me, it was that moment, and I was like, oh shit, pump. Because for me, I know you, I know the memories that I have of you is just pump during that moment of like churning the fire, of like, yo, I'm cooking, man. Like I'm figuring things out. We're sharpening this blade, like
You're probably the
and
few people that met me like in that time. To be
I'm you know what I mean? Well, like I guess I'm fortunate, like I don't know, but that's just the memories that I have of you and recognizing that I'm like this dude's, working his craft, and to me it looked like you weren't judging yourself too much and you were just all about like that workshop moment, and being like, yo, this is about just seeing what comes and then if need be go back, refine it, or get on to the next and refine that. That's why I ask, because what's next for you, or what do you got in the baking in the oven per se.
and obviously, those events also did, but I feel like what really didn't allow me to just stop. Also, like I said, it's easier to quit something that you're not in, to quit
That's,
a world
yeah.
that's not even present right now, anyways. But when it came back, I couldn't deny it, and but more importantly, I feel like I haven't finished business.
Mm.
Like I feel like even before rap, I've been an artist, guitar, bass, whatever. But I feel like I don't know, I have like this need to show something for it, to have like, it comes down to recorded music out there. And I
Yeah.
feel like it would just feel unacceptable for me, like to have gone all this time in my life doing this, and I don't even have like a project.
Mm.
Like it just doesn't feel like, I don't know, like it just didn't sit well with me.
Yeah, just for the sake
But I
of
also couldn't force it, like I also couldn't force it. And like around this time that these events started happening, um, I started, getting beats from Lex,
yeah.
and honestly, his beats immediately made me like also was just, it just felt so natural. Like I just feel like I just wrote to him like immediately.
Mm.
It's like I have written more in these 2 months than I've written like in 2 years probably.
That's tight. That's tight. That's super
And
cool.
it's, I don't know, like I just, and it also just made me feel like it's time for me to throw events again.
Yeah.
And obviously, with my old team being in Philadelphia, it didn't make sense to continue cellar hip hop,
Yeah.
to be honest. And at the same time, I almost moved to Texas during a time where I was unemployed, like sometime last year. So it also just made me feel like, like a little iffy about creating a brand that's name is like pretty like rooted in a location.
All right.
And that's why I just didn't feel like Southeast, what if I moved to Nella, like it just
And you're rocking like Sela hip hop
yeah, like
stuff.
like it just, I don't know. And maybe I'm just overthinking it too. But I guess at this point I feel like I needed something that was gonna be mine.
Mm.
That was just my idea completely, and I went with it. And definitely the thing that I'm doing differently this time around is just, I'm not, like I said, I'm not hungry. Like I'm doing it in a way that it makes sense for me. Like I'm not. I feel like I really like. There's people that are just really driven, that are complete workhorses that could take on multiple things at once, And I've just accepted that I'm not that person. I'm not that person. Like someone like Darm was able to do Sella and be an artist at the same time. For me, it's like if I do one, something else is gonna take an L. Like I just accepted that, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't do events at the frequency that I used to. Now I'm pretty content with. For now, I'm doing it every 6 weeks.
Dope.
And even then, I'm even thinking like fuck, maybe every 2 months. Like I swear, the other day, I even thought shit, cause like this is how like more about me I am this time around, that I'm booking way less people per event, just because like sure, if you book more people, there's a higher chance of more people coming because the people that each artist brings. But I don't care. like,
Yeah, yeah.
like I don't care. Like
You got your priorities.
I wanna enjoy my own event.
Yeah.
I do not want to be running around and all of that. I have few artists, good intervals of time in between, and it also works out good for whatever bar that you're doing it, because those times is when people purchase. So like it also helps with keeping a good relationship with the bar.
Yeah. That's dope, man. I think it sounds like you got your priorities,
I just want to chill,
and yeah, and to your and you have a sense of your own pace and the pace you want to keep. I think that's mad, respectable, because you had some time to really reflect and
I
dig
mean,
deep.
I already did that. Like it's just like I don't.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's dope, dude.
The only
Honestly.
thing I feel bad it. I do. The only thing that I do feel is like I like putting people on, and I definitely can't really do that anymore.
I mean, it may just be at the pace that you're doing it at. You know what I mean?
So like, there's just too many homies that I love that are that are kind of on the waiting list. Like it's just,
Hey,
and it is what it is because I can't book that many people
yeah.
per event because like then I'm gonna take the L.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense, dude. That makes sense. I appreciate you framing it that way too. And again, like really honoring the fact that you recognize your capacity and that you want to keep it at that, for the sake of continuing to produce like stuff that you're proud of and enjoying it versus feeling like you may burn out and like at some point being like, you know what, I'm done. I don't want this no more kind of thing, because that happens, you know what I mean? Like it's very real, bro. We're human. Everybody goes through that. You only have capacity for so much,
And honestly, I am willing to do like a little middle ground in between it, like collab events
Okay.
where like I'm not in charge of everything. Where
Yeah,
it's just
that
like
makes sense.
where like I'm only giving a part of myself and not all of myself, so I don't really feel the weight of it, so it doesn't really cost me anything.
Yeah.
And I have some of that,
Totally makes sense.
planned out. Because ultimately, I think I'd be cool with having the event slang every 2 months,
Okay.
and in between that, maybe I'll do an event where I just contribute, but not fully.
I like that, man. I like that. That makes sense, It kind of goes back to the point you were making earlier, too, of taking your time with it, enjoying it, but also figuring out, like, how to, continue to move at that pace that's comfortable for you. I think kind of moving us to a close here, let folks know where can they connect with you, if they want to keep up with any of the stuff you're doing, or just get a peek at the creative process that PumpGatto has to offer,
I mean, definitely can't come to my house, like.
Don't go to his house. No doxing. If you know where he lives, don't dox him.
Honestly, definitely. Now that I'm structuring the events where I get to just vibe and chill,
Yeah.
definitely I would say the slang events would be the place, where you want to, like, honestly, like, I want to talk to people, like it's.
What's the Instagram for that one?
It's just slang hip hop LA.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean that would be the place to for sure, because my event I'm gonna be there, and since I'm gonna be less busy than I used to be.
You're gonna pull a MF Doom and hire someone else to go as you and shit.
That goals right there.
Like, That's a good idea.
I mean, those,
Okay.
those goals definitely.
Goals.
But I'm also not in a hurry.
Yeah.
Like I don't. I feel like I do have to be conscious of who represents slang.
Yeah. Okay.
And right now, I'm comfortable with that person just being me.
Got it. Got it. Okay. What about your personal Insta or anything like that? If folks want to keep up with PumpGatto directly.
Well, PumpGatto.
PumpGatto?
Yep.
Okay.
PUM with two T's.
Tell them, bro. Tell 'em.
PUMPGATTO.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Any closing words, man? Any closing thoughts? I know we covered a lot. A lot of your history. Some of the stuff that you went through in terms of your creative process. Some of the transitional stuff, chapters closing, right, and you writing new chapters. Slang being one of them. You also working with Lex and some new music coming, and that feeling like uh, that's like your calling right now to leave those bits of breadcrumbs for folks to remember, right, and maybe for yourself too to remember. Yeah, that's the work I'm proud of, and that's the work I did. You know, yeah. Any other closing thoughts, bro?
It's not really, to be honest.
Hey, man.
I mean, I feel like I
Like
probably talk too much.
nah, man. I think this is the space for that. This is really what it is all about. Creating a space for us to just have this kind of dialogue.
You know what?
man.
I feel like if closing would be is to say that I feel I'm barely getting started.
Beautiful.
Like,
That's
like
beautiful,
it
man.
feels like I'm barely getting started, to be honest.
That's fucking beautiful. That's
Like
dope.
everything else was just fucking. I was in elementary school and shit.
Yeah, the discovery phase, huh? The training wheels.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Okay. I'm gonna move to close, man.
Yeah.
But I think just want to thank you for your time, dude. Honestly, man, and thank you for those stories and really like just sharing that bit of the creative process for you, right? And hopefully, folks can get inspired by that and also see that there's different rhythms that folks got to take. There's no cookie cutter approach to this. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
You
I
know?
feel like no one should get really stuck on. To realize, I feel like not to use the gato thing, but I feel like, and this is something that I've taken and applied to a lot of different things. That there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Perfect.
Yeah, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Perfect.
If you're not this type of artist, that doesn't mean that you can't be good at being this type of artist.
Right.
And don't don't get stuck on the grass is greener type of shit.
Boom.
Yeah.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here. All right. This has been another episode of Snacks and Raps. I'm your host, Rips. That was my, good friend here and guest, PumpGatto, letting y'all know there's more way to skin a cat, or there's multiple ways up a mountain. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Snacks and Raps. Again, if you haven't tuned in, make sure to do that, and we'll catch you on the next time, y'all. Peace out.